Okay, so here's a picture of you and your wife. So tell us, who are you and what have you done and how did you find Lifestyles?
Howdy, everybody. My name is Phil. I'm relatively new. I've been with you Lifestyles since about 2019. When I first joined, I had to persuade my wife. I, like a lot of y'all, had read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But no one ever gave me a system on how to do that, right? You read those books, you're like, that sounds fantastic. If only I knew how to do it, right? And so I heard on the radio Lifestyles, and in another lifetime, I was a loan officer for a mortgage company. So I helped other people make piles of money. I was like, man, I wish I could do that. And so when I heard Lifestyles, it just seemed like the right thing to do. Now, we joined in 2019. We had some tragedy. My dad died. We had to take care of his estate, so we had things pop up. And eventually, I was able to, I worked for a corporation. I was able to pull money out of my 401k. Everyone thought I was nuts. What are you doing? You're crazy. I worked for one of the big companies here in San Antonio. It rhymes with USAA. And even my manager came to me, which I don't think they're supposed to know about that. They had a friend, I guess, in the legal department. They're like, for some reason they thought I was getting a divorce. You know, they're like, that's the only way you can pull your 401k out. Someone dies or you're quitting or you're divorced. Everything okay? And I'm like, everything's wonderful. What's wrong? But I guess I'll wait for the next slide.
Yeah.
But I eventually have 3 properties, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, sure. Let's see.
There we go.
Okay, so you found Lifestyle, you came to a free workshop, you ready to pull your 401, but what made you sign up? What was that fire under you that said, let's do this?
So, as I said, for many years I was sold on the idea of real estate as an investment tool, but I didn't know how to do it. I knew I needed a system. Lifestyles provided that. Now, I was a partner in a small business many years ago that failed miserably. And by failed miserably, I mean it crashed and burned, and I was at the helm of it. So I had some hesitancy, right? If you've been burned, you have a lot more precaution. You've lost piles of money. You've lost other people's money.
Right.
So when you're going into an investment, you're very sober.
Did you take 3 years like Chris?
I didn't take 3 years, but I took about a year.
Okay.
And so, but over and over again, you'll hear this is, don't lose money.
Right.
Don't lose money. And I always thought, man, that's a hymnal I can sing out of if I'm going to be investing,
Right.
Everything I have into this. So,
Well, good. Yeah, and I mean, I'm proud to say I think every deal, I've never lost money on a deal. I can proudly say it. So that's something you're going to learn this 2-day. One thing we focus on is when you get into this is not gambling, right? You go out and buy Bitcoin, you're like, I think it'll go up, it might go up, I hope it goes up, but it might lose money. With real estate, that's not the case. We're getting into these deals to make money. So it's not gambling, it's not speculation like what you're used to hearing. A lot of people call flipping investing. That's not investing, because if you can't sell the flip at the back end, what do you do, right? So that's a powerful thing with Lifestyles is we focus on not losing money. We want to show you how to make money. So that's a great point right there. So let's see. Okay, so this is one of the deals you did on Little Ponderosa. Tell us about it.
So I became a challenge member almost immediately just because I like the idea of getting the emails and knowing them, basically finding the deals for you, because I know I'm lazy and I don't want to go find them. However,
who wants to be lazy like Phil? Right?
We're just being honest, right?
Yeah.
We're being honest. But I also, when I joined Lifestyles, I saw all these examples and I was pumped up, and I told anyone around me in my circle that, hey, if y'all ever have a property you want to sell, make sure to let me know if you know anyone in the family. And they're like, oh, okay. So this particular property, friend of the family, very close to them, sons inherited it, grandpa died. They looked at it and said, I just want to bulldoze it. They were scared to death. And I just want to say something. Lifestyles helps remove some of that fear on these properties, that the naked eye looks at the property and goes, it should be bulldozed.
Right.
And I probably have a disease walking in here right now. Right? So,
Right.
but with this one, I knew I had potential. I offered it. The kids didn't want it. They sold it to me. And this was my first deal,
Yeah.
first rehab.
Okay.
I mean, I jumped in and did the whole thing.
And it was about 30K rehab, if I recall?
It was 30,000
Okay.
rehab.
So on your rehab, did you do the rehab? You went in there, hammers and
Negative.
paintbrushes? No?
Negative. It would be probably twisted the other way around if I did it. No, I went to Lifestyles. I used all the vendors. Guys, I just went through and did what they said. Here are vendors. I looked through many vendors for everything. Through Joey, I was able to get a great general contractor, but also a painter, a lot of other contractors, and it
Well,
was
the
great.
rehab looks good. Looks
Yeah.
great. How
Yeah.
long did it take, roughly?
3.5 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And it was a full rehab. Roof, painting inside, painting outside, floors through the whole house, 2 bathrooms.
So that's a good point to make. Sometimes, especially when you're new, you look at a house, you're like, oh my gosh, it's going to take months. Like you're going to be stuck on this thing 6 months. No, guys, if you have the right team and the right GC, this should be knocked out, in and out. 3.5 weeks seems on point for the entire, did a whole rehab,
Yeah.
floors, paint, light fixtures, roof, foundation.
Right. And no foundation.
No
just,
foundation.
Just roof. But I want to jump in here, and we're probably going to go outside of the slides.
Yeah.
This lady was incredible. I mean, my wife and I would talk to her all the time, and this is wrong. You're not supposed to profile. Profiling's wrong. But I thought, how's this pretty little lady going to tell me anything about anything?
Right.
And day one, she's like, okay, let's go. Here's what you're going to do. Get a pen out. Keep up. And
Hey, but you listened.
I was blown away, and I probably called you like an estranged girlfriend all the time going, oh, what do I do here? Oh, I'm not sure. She said, settle down, you're fine. This is exactly where you're supposed to be.
Right.
Keep going. But
Yeah, you
every
did great.
step of the way.
Yeah, one thing also with him, he listens, right? So he's not the one that wants to argue. If you have a member who listens to you, takes the information, and takes action, that's so powerful. You're
I've
going to be
been married 27 years. So.
She did good. She did good. So, most important thing, let's look at these numbers, guys, and no, this is not a typo. If you look at the equity capture, that number probably blows your mind. That's $217,900 equity, right? So where did he find this deal? He just said he was talking to all the friends, the family, everybody at church. Hey, I'm getting into real estate. I buy houses. If you have an inherited property that you don't want, let me know. And he did that, and that's really powerful. In addition to getting the email blasts and working with your lifestyle realtors, I think networking and talking to everybody is so powerful, and you can see that from this deal. Now, this is a little bit outside of the typical, what we call bread and butter house, right? It's valued at $418,000. However, you purchased it for $225,000. It's now worth $418,000, about a year. How long have you owned this one?
August 2020.
It hasn't even been a year
yeah.
yet. Okay.
No,
You get-
2020.
Oh, 2020.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
year
So
and
it's been
some
over a
change,
year.
year and a half,
Gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha. Okay. Your cash out of pocket was $16,000. If you're wondering how is that possible, well, he used you did a hard money loan.
I did.
Right? Do you?
This is the one I love telling people.
Okay, go for it.
Because I've got family, bless her heart. They're very professional real estate agents in Houston, H-Town. Big time, big time, big time. They're in the top 20 every year.
Sales, yep.
And so, he wants to know the number. So how'd you pull this off, buddy?
Yeah.
And I go, well, I spent $16,000, but I did $30,000 worth of rehab.
Yeah, most people are like, huh? How'd you do that?
You can only learn this through Lifestyles, I'm
Right.
telling you.
Right, so we work with vendors who specialize to work with real estate investors. So you walk into Wells Fargo, you walk into Keller Williams, all these mainstream, they're gonna say, huh, you have the cash or not? So it's very powerful to have the network that we do, to have those vendors that were able to do deals like this. So you rented it out for $1,850, which is $22,000 a year. Now cash flow, that's the important part. That's the one that you take home every month. So he's taking home $5,000 a year on this little deal. Cash on cash return, 31%. That's amazing. You're not going to find that in the stock market or CDs or any of that other crap. So tell us, did you find your own renters or did you hire someone or how did that go down?
I followed the plan.
Okay.
I utilized Zillow to find renters. I got killed a common question is like, well, what if you don't get a renter? Right
Right.
now, you're going to get killed with inquiries, and but you have to go through and you have to screen them.
Right.
And I followed all of the plans that they tell you.
Good.
How to screen them. Had a lot of phone calls to her, a lot of emails back and forth.
Yeah.
And and you're anxious. You're like, I think I want to rent to them. Here's how the background came. And Jody go, run away.
Right.
Those are axe murderers. Right. No.
They might not pay the rent on time, and if
and
they
murder
don't,
you. No, but we went through people. We found a good renter, fantastic renter.
good. Awesome.
He's still there.
Okay. And you didn't stop there, so we're going to go to your portfolio. So you've got 3, but these 3 are killer deals, guys. Look at this. He's making $16,000 a month. That's tax deferred.
Well, annually.
Annually.
Oh, I'm sorry,
yes.
annually.
I
$16,000 a
wish.
year, which is in his equity. So if he wanted to sell everything
Yeah.
today, he'd have over $300,000 on 3 deals.
Yeah.
3 deals. And you're not stopping here, right? I know you're
No.
not stopping here. But you've
Not
done
at all.
so well on these. You've got 2. So you've got 2 on the same street?
Yeah, right.
You like that area?
Well, it's my network, right? So
There you go.
well, the second one was just a getaway house, like second home vacation
Just
home.
50K equity. Yeah.
It was a vacation home, and because they sold it, they just want to get rid of it. They didn't put it on the market. I made a deal with them. We worked it out.
Okay. Good. Okay. And then the last one, making 57 equity. So these are amazing, guys. I mean, that's just 3. So then we asked you, how's lifestyles changed your life since you joined? And you said, I feel like I've caught up over a decade of losses in my life. And that makes total sense. Like, oh my gosh, that's so true. Like, imagine where you would be if you started sooner, but look at what you've done in such a short period of time. I think it's phenomenal. You're doing great.
I was talking to Joey, another great mentor, and he actually snagged that just from a conversation I had
cool,
with him. He
okay.
goes, that's really good. We're going to put that down.
Yay.
But I did. If you've crashed and burned a business before and you lose everything, and getting a little long in the tooth, right? You're getting older, and you have to start all over. So I spent 7, 8 years replenishing the 401k like you're supposed to, right?
Right.
But and now I'm just going to liquidate it. But to just give you an example, I was telling Jody this. My total equity in all my properties, including my homestead, which has gone up in value, is the equivalent of a buddy of mine at the old place that has 20 years of putting 8% in a 401k.
Wow.
I was able to get that equity. And guys, I know I probably look pretty smart, but I'm not that smart. It's the system. It's this system.
You did in 2 years what took him 20.
20.
Yeah. And that's common. We hear this, guys, all the time.
Yeah.
Imagine the life you could have versus what you are working towards.
So when you first came in and we said we could retire you in 5 years or less, did you believe that?
I did. I mean, I'm a type A guy, right? So I was, let's go, let's do it. And my wife, took the leash out.
So if you haven't taken the seminar, we go over type A and type B personalities. He's the guy we have to put a stake in the ground
Big
and let him
time.
wear himself out.
Big time.
Because he's the fire-ready aim.
I was trying to figure out how to sell a kid to get a
Wants to buy
property.
every-
Type
Everything.
Bs are like me. We play on Excel for fun.
Yeah.
We'll go over that in detail.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So-
good that you recognize that.
Yeah.
But look what a mentor's done for him.
Absolutely.
Jody restrained
Held
me
him
also.
back. That's right. Restraint. Restraint.
That's why we're here. So what's next? I mean, you've achieved that success in such a short period of time. So short term,
We want to try to buy another property. I'd like to use one of the real estate
Sure,
agents. What's funny is I have 3 properties, and I would study those emails every time they come in. Should I go get this one? And I haven't even used it yet,
Right.
but they're great.
Right.
We want to buy a property. Long term, within 3 years, we want to get into apartments.
Wonderful.
That's where we want to be. And a lot of people, you'll hear everyone's why they want to do this. My son's here with me. One of the things we were able to do, I'll say this real quick, I'm not going to be long-winded. Last year, we brought my mother-in-law in. I took some of the equity and turned my garage into a apartment for my mother-in-law. So we moved her in with us so she didn't have to be at a old folks home during COVID, which was terrible. We moved her out. My wife left her job. I left my job. I'm in the insurance business, formed an insurance agency. The cash flow that we had really helped fill in the gaps in that transition.
Great.
But one of the things I look forward to is I'm a leader in my church. My son and I are avid bird hunters, as you can see there. We miss out on a lot of bird hunting, but we have goals to get to where we can spend more time and do the things we want to with church and recreation.
Great. See, that's what it's about, guys. It's the lifestyle, giving you that time back with the people that deserve it. So let's see. So who's on your team? These are some folks that you thought you wanted to give a shout out to that you've utilized within the system. And so you've got
Art.
Oh, Art. That's the contractor. Okay.
Gosh. You want to be selfish and you don't want to tell people, but you want to stay over here. Don't tell anyone about it.
Right.
No, the great thing about Art is he says no. You know, he will say no. And that's great. I was ready to move on my third property. I'm like, okay, let's go. And he's like, I'm focused on this property. You got to wait 6 weeks. I waited 6 weeks. He's that good.
Good.
But Art Acevedo, and then we've got Red Door for the hard money,
Okay.
and Mr. Adam Welsh at CMG.
Okay. And that's your long-term financing.
He is right.
Okay.
He's conventional lending mainly. And then, of course, you have the lawyer, the attorney, Henry Novak.
Novak. Yeah.
They helped
You
me.
glazed over the story that goes along with Henry Novak. Can you explain to the crowd here a little bit what he helped you do?
So,
Because you didn't get divorced, and you still got your money.
no,
Right?
exactly. USAA, the legal team, thought we're going to need your divorce papers to final out this liquidation. I go, I'm not getting divorced. No, he's a lawyer that helps you pull your 401k funds out without completely getting your eyes poked out. It's going to sting a little bit, but as a lawyer, he helps you. He prevents from all the terrible penalties. A lot of times, if you want to pull a 401k out, you've got to either you're leaving the company,
Right.
or you have a dire situation. There's only certain reasons why you can pull your 401k out. We hired him. It took a little while, but we were able to liquidate my 401k.
And you avoided the penalty.
Right, it's the penalties.
Still paid the tax.
Still pay the tax.
Have you
but-
made it back?
Pardon?
Have you made the tax back that you paid?
Oh, I did that within the first year, yeah.
First transaction?
Yeah.
Pretty much?
Yeah,
Was it worth it?
definitely. I wish I had another one 401k to
Right.
liquidate.
Yeah, so we've got a great team of vendors who will help you every step of the way, no matter what your situation is. If you've got a 401k, he might be the one you want to call, get some information. So, well, awesome. Your story is amazing, and I'm so happy that you're here today, and I really appreciate everything, and I'm sure everybody learned a lot. But before we let you go, I know someone online or here has got a question for you. Any questions, guys?
I have a question.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
We've got a number of new folks in the room, guests, FFP members. What would you tell them now that you've done it?
The biggest takeaway is you're not alone, okay? You're not alone. These guys are busy. I mean, they're very busy. You get on the calendar, you organize it, you work it. If you listen and work with them, they take you every step of the way. You might have something happen, you think you have it all figured out. They're a phone call away. They're an email away.
Right.
And it gave me confidence knowing that I have all of Lifestyles Unlimited behind me to support me as I'm taking this risk and investing. I don't know how to explain it other than just that, is that you're not alone.
Good.
Excellent. Any
Okay.
questions from the room? Don't be shy. Got an opportunity to ask a guy that just made $217,000 on one transaction.
Do you teach a
By the way,
negotiating class?
I pulled out my phone. I don't know if you saw me over here doing that. That's a 1,300% capital gain.
Yeah.
That's big.
That's amazing.
We talk about doubling up every 2 years.
I'm not that
You
smart.
got 1,300% on one deal. I mean,
Yeah.
know.
yeah.
Crazy.
I
Any
know.
questions online?
Carmen?
Any questions online? Carl?
No.
We got
I don't know if we can we see him up here? Oh, it's not up there.
right here. You guys-
You have a question?
Sure.
Yeah. Did you do it?
And I'll repeat it.
Yeah. You'll need to repeat it.
Hi.
Hi. My fear about investing would be the market crashing, because right now we are on this upswing of things. And so I have had a property that I've bought on the very low bottom, and I made incredible profit. But right now it's like, ooh, is it going to crash? And then whatever I pay. How do you deal with that fear of the market crashing?
I'm glad you asked that question. When you've been in lifestyles for a while and you've gone to the classes over and over again, it's a common question, and y'all can answer it better than I can. But what I would say is, if the market crashes, the houses out there are going to be very inexpensive. Rehabs are going to be hardly anything, and it's going to be fantastic for us. Terrible for a lot of people, but great for us. If you have existing properties, it might slow some things down. You might not get as much back, but you've already built a certain level of equity. That doesn't scare me at all. I have no fear of that. And so I'm gonna go, well, what if everything goes terrible? You know, you've got those friends, real positive friends, that are like, what do you do when the whole market crashes and every house is $1 million? I go, well, what are you gonna do?
Right.
You don't have anything. I don't know, did you want to answer that?
I'll throw my 2 cents in. I got one up here. Yeah. So typical correction is somewhere between 9 and 18 months. Do you have to sell? No. We have 30-year notes. That's what we teach. We're also buying under market value. So even, we're buying at 75, 80% all in. If the market corrects 10%, I still have an equity cushion. If it corrects 20%, I might be sitting par, but I'm still going to cash flow. I'm still going to have depreciation. I'm still going to have principal pay down. The market's going to come back eventually where I will have appreciation again. So ultimately, recessions or in times of inflation like right now, I love being an owner. My net worth, like Al said, it's going up and up and up and up and up very fast.
Right.
Recession, okay, I'll buy it cheaper.
Right.
We've got some experienced real estate investors in this room who are waiting for that blood to be in the water because we're all sharks.
Right.
And it's going to be a feeding frenzy,
Right.
meaning we're going to go on a buying spree. Your answer was perfect, by the way.
Yeah, I agree with them. I mean, I started buying in 2009, remember, guys? And back then, it was like there was 7 to 8 foreclosures on every street. And they're like, what if it keeps going down? And my mentor taught me it must cash flow, stupid. I mean, that's what Dell told me. And it's like people always need a roof over their head. They don't always need to wash their car. They don't always need to buy Louis Vuitton or buy the latest Mercedes, but they always need a roof over their head. And if you have a product that most people need, right, typically, we're not buying the most expensive house. We're not buying the cheapest, right in the middle. So we have that safety net. And so I've been through the market since 2009, and nothing has gone down since 2009. If anything, I wish it would have gone down so things can go on sale so we can buy some more. But but I'm in the same boat with them. And Dell teaches us, right? Dell and Lifestyles, you make money coming into the deal, right? Again, we don't speculate, right? So we're going to cash flow. The values could go up and down, up and down. That tenant's still going to pay you the rent. So it's pretty much a safe investment.
Yeah, on that note, something else is we don't squelch on the rehab.
Right.
We don't squelch on making it nice. My renters, they love how clean and how pretty everything is, and we bring a professionalism. They look at the contract, they're like, I rent a lot of houses. Am I marrying somebody? This contract is pretty serious.
30 pages, right?
Yeah, because they know we're very serious, and they like that. I found they like that, and then you've got some pretty solid renters if you do it right.
Heck yeah.
Another question right here.
Yeah. What's been the easiest part of the process for you and most difficult?
I'll repeat the question. He said, what's been the easiest part of this process, and then what has been the most difficult in your experience?
The easiest part was sitting and watching rent money go into your bank account. That was definitely the easiest. The hardest, the hardest is restraining my wife from turning it into Waco Magnolia. Ladies, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Y'all are laughing. The guys are like, what is he talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about. And that has nothing to do with lifestyles, but it was restraining my wife
So basically,
from
her
turning it
wanting to
into the Taj Mahal.
over-rehab. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do landscaping over here. It's going to be pretty. We're going to do. No, we're not. We're not going to do that.
Remember,
So if
you're not going to
new-
live there.
If you're new and you have HGTV, you need to put a lock on that and stop
Lord
watching.
have mercy.
Those shows are all lies.
Right.
But she was really good on getting the colors. She's a art teacher, so she knows all the
Color
colors
schemes,
matched.
yeah.
It's good I wasn't left to that. Jody would have gone, what have you done?
Good question. Well, awesome. One more?
So when you're a landlord, do you actually deal with the tenants or do you have a company that's?
She said, as a landlord, do you deal with your tenants or did you hire a company to do that?
So the short answer is I do, as it's taught in lifestyles. And what I found, though, if you do it right, you follow the rules, you do everything, it's a lot of upfront work so that you don't have work later on, right? So if you're doing background checks, you're getting appropriate tenants in there, it's almost a one and done. You've gone over the contract, they know it's required of them. As long as there's no emergency, you've done everything, you make sure everything's safe, everything's working, you're not cutting corners and knowing that there's gonna be a leak later. To the best of your knowledge, based on the inspection and everything, you're taking care of the house. In my experience, when you do that, you're not gonna have problems later on, and you're setting the expectations up front. And in the contract that Jody trained me on is so good, because if it gives them a very systematic, if this happens, you do this, if this happens, you do that. So they're just, I think, in your question, it seems like, are you having to deal with tenants all the time is a concern?
It's been occupied for a year and a half, right?
Right.
How often have they called you? You probably had to reach out to them at the year mark and say, do you want to renew?
Yeah. I mean, we had freakish things, like we had the snow.
Oh, Snowvid.
Yeah.
Right, February.
And there's a well on that property, and I know the old guy, his family's been up there for like 100 years. And I said, what did y'all do the last time this happened? And he goes, there ain't been no last time. This has never frozen like that before. So other than one-offs like that, nothing.
You see, what we teach is different than what you hear out in the market. We're not slumlords. We fix everything
Right.
up front. So if you fix the HVAC, if you fix the appliances, or if they're brand new, or the water heater's new, what are they going to call about? Nothing. I have residents I don't talk to but once a year at renewal, and I thank them with a 3 to 5% increase.
Yep.
And they gladly pay.
So I have a rule with my tenants, they're not allowed to call me unless it's fire, flood, or blood. If they have any other questions about anything, they can email me. But this is a business, and we run it like a business. And we'll teach you that at the 2-day, or if you join up, and the mentors will help you. If you want to learn how to do it where there's a system. So I've got members that live in California. They have 20 houses in San Antonio. They manage. Tenants pay the rent online. They hire a leasing agent to do the background checks and to locate the tenant. But the management side, again, because we're fixing everything up front, and we're getting good people in there, right? Not criminals, not people that have evictions, right? These are decent people, and they want their credit to stay good, and they don't want to default on anything. So it runs itself. So we'll teach you how to do all of that. Or if you just don't want to deal with it at all, you can hire property management. There are some members who choose to do that, but we want to teach you and have the tools to do it yourself if you ever want to do that. And it's a powerful thing, and it's not as hard as it sounds. So, good question.
There was. Well, Phil, thank you very much. Sure.
One more?
Was there one more? Yeah, we'll
We have
take
time for one more?
Last
Okay.
one.
Sure.
So my question is the cash flow, the money that you get from the rent, how is that taxed if it's
So he's asking, is the cash flow from the monthly payment, or the profit you get every month, is it taxed? If so, how is that taxed? I hate to say tax-free, right? I'm not a CPA, if there's any CPAs in the room. I say tax-deferred, which basically it's looked at as passive income. In your experience, how did that work out when you did your taxes?
I was not taxed on it. That's the bottom line. I know I get scared of talking about that. I fear no man but the IRS.
Right.
They're calling you right now.
They're calling
I know. See love. No, I would.
Saw you at the event.
No, that's the beauty of it. It's smarter people can go over that detail with you. The bottom line is not taxable.
And in the 2-day seminar, I spent about an hour and a half going over taxes. Believe it or not, that's where everybody's down there taking notes. And we have CPA panels as part of your membership where you can come in here and we'll bring 3 to 5 CPAs up. You can pepper them with questions. And those typically go 3, 4, 5, 6 hours because everybody wants to know about taxes. right? But I can tell you from experience, I haven't paid a dime in taxes since I left my corporate job, and I make more money every single year
Get there.
because of real estate and the way that it's structured. Now, I didn't go over this in the beginning, but who makes the laws? Nancy Pelosi, Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell, right? And what are they invested in?
Real estate.
Heavily in real estate. So those laws are going to favor where they put their money. We will teach you how to do it pretty much tax-free.
And that's another reason why we don't flip. Because if you flip, typically you got capital gains tax. We don't deal with that when we do buy and hold. So that's another reason we buy rentals. But that was a great question. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Phil. If you can give him a hand, and thank you for sharing your story with us today.